Audio article by the Common Constitutionalist entitled Conservatives versus the Swamp. One of the claims that President Trump hailed during the campaign was that he wanted to drain the swamp in D.C. We heard many times from him and his surrogates about going to Washington to drain the swamp. Those at his rallies could even be heard chanting, "Drain the swamp." It played great to the masses, but is it really possible? If all things remain equal, is this possible? Well, no, it's not. First, without getting into detail, some of Trump's cabinet picks belie his promise, although he never actually stated that "I promise to drain the swamp." His choices of Sessions as Attorney General, Scott Pruitt at EPA, Tom Price at HHS, and certainly, we hope, the new Supreme Court Justice Gorsuch appear to, at first blush, be swamp drainers. But Reince Preibus, Steve Mnuchin at Treasury, and Secretary of State Tillerson seem to be, at best, status quo swampists. But it of course can't all be left to Trump. There is no president who is capable of doing all the heavy lifting when it comes to this monumental and possibly insurmountable task. He must get help from the legislative branch. This will be a lot tougher. Members of Congress and the Senate understand full well that presidents can only helm the ship for a maximum of 8 years, while their careers as public servants can span decades. They also understand that incumbency is a great thing, that once they're in, it's difficult to get them out. In 2014, over 96% of incumbents won re-election, and historically it runs around 90%. The game is effectively rigged in their favor if they stay in Washington long enough to master the game. And to master the game, they must succumb to D.C. corruption. We conservatives know all too well what happens to legislators who spend too many years in Washington. I said it before, but it bears repeating that, in my opinion, even Jesus Christ could be corrupted by spending too much time in D.C. And you don't have to believe me. The proof of this corruption of the soul is easy to find. The more time spent in Washington, the more liberal one becomes. A few days ago, I received an email from my friends at Conservative Review that revealed this very point. I was directed to the CR site to see both the top 25 legislative conservatives and the top 25 rhinos. The list of conservatives and rhinos was not itself surprising, but the proof that time in service was a major factor between the two could not have been more stark. The total or cumulative time spent in D.C. as congressman or women or senator for the top 25 conservatives is 115 years. Dividing that 115 by 25 legislators gives us an average time spent in the D.C. cesspool of only 4.6 years. Now juxtapose this result with the top 25 rhinos. The cumulative time spent by these rhinos is 449 years. This is an average of 17.96 or almost 18 years in D.C. And if it weren't for a few recently elected rhinos, the result would be a lot worse, easily over 20 years. These numbers are no coincidence. The more time a legislator spends in Washington, the less likely he or she will be inclined to change anything. Why would they wish to drain their own swamp? And the re-election numbers don't lie. It's all well and good to proclaim our desire to unseat these swamp rats, but in practice it's proven to be virtually impossible. I hope Trump is serious about draining the swamp. If he is, he will not accomplish it by enlisting the inside the Beltway crowd. We, through the Article 5 Convention of States, are the only ones who can achieve term limits. It's the only way to end the cycle of corruption. Thank you for listening.